Let's go on to next weekend, man. Or next weekend is actually a major weekend for your team. Three guys are fighting, so let's go down the line and just talk about those fights. I think they're all phenomenal fights. I actually like Brad's fight. I think that's gonna be like the clash of styles, right? But like the physical differences too. You know, Jalin Turner is like really tall and long. He loves to strike. Brad, of course, he's a striker. He loves to strike, but the distance, how they're going to play with the distance, I think that's going to be interesting to watch. You know what I mean? I don't think it's going to be a quick finish. I think these guys are going to be standing there and throwing hard at each other. What do you see in this?
Yeah, obviously, like the height, like Jalin Turner. I like that fight. Like that fight, I like the sound of that fight. I like Turner. Like I would love to get on there and compete with him just because, just because he's really tall and I don't know. I think it'd be fun. But yeah, like I think people forget like the amount of experience that Brad has as a kickboxer as well. Like before his MMA career, like 70 fights as like a pro kickboxer. Like that's a lot of fights, and he was fighting at a lot of those fights were at welterweight for MMA. They were at 77 kilos. Like he cut down to lightweight. He cut down to 70 kilos for the UFC. So like he's not like the biggest guy height wise in the world. You know what I mean? Like 77 kilos. Do you know how many Jalin Turners this guy's fought before? Do you know how many like 6 foot, 6'2", 6'3"? Like you know how many guys that have had a reach advantage? Of those 70 fights, I would say like 50, 60 of them against guys that are taller than him. Like he's got a lot of experience closing the distance. Like this is where he falls back on the 70 fight experience. Like I feel like this is a fight where people are gonna think that he's gonna have a problem and he's gonna really shine. That's what I think this fight's gonna be. People are gonna be like, oh man, how's he gonna deal with the range? And I think he's gonna. This is where he has the most experience. I think people forget is against guys that are taller than him and against guys that he has to close the distance, get inside and run up some numbers with some strikes. And this is what he does. This is what he does.
When Brad, I think he fought once or twice for one championship for that Super Series, and he actually fought the champ, the guy that's the champion right now, Ursel, and I think he's like 6'3" or 6'4" or something like that, just long. And Brad went in there and just went crazy with him. You know what I mean? It was a great fight.
Yeah. I think he lost the decision, but it was like a mean fight, like very close fight, very close fight.
Brad is like he's one of those guys. I don't know him personally, and I've never like talked to him or anything like that. But just from watching his fights and his catalog, and just people that know him telling me about him, he's just a fucking hard cunt. Like that's what that's what it is, right? He's just a hard cunt.
Just likes to fight, bro. Like that's all he really cares about. Like he doesn't care about looking good. He doesn't care about saying fancy shit. He doesn't think about what he's gonna say, like or anything like that. Like the guy just likes to fight. And I feel like once you get to like those upper echelon positions and people just start paying more attention, like that's when guys like that really shine. Like I remember like Mark Hunt, people used to just be like, what, this guy says nothing, like he'd just go to his post-fight interview and just be like, he goes, so, how was that? And he'd be like, yeah, it's a good fight. What's your game plan? Yeah, just going to punch him. Like they're but as you get to like the higher level, it kind of turns into a thing. Like it kind of turned into a thing where Mark Hunt would just say, everyone knew he's going to say like super short answers, short and sweet, and just say like just gonna punch his head off or something like that. You know what I mean? At the earlier level, everyone's like, man, people would look at Mark Hunt and be like, man, this guy needs some media training or how to answer questions. But it's just like he was just genuine to himself the whole way through. And I think that's all that Brad's doing. He's just being him. Like he's just being genuine to himself. And once it gets to it doesn't really get appreciated till you get to like that upper echelon and people just start it's not that you get more interesting. It's just people start paying more attention to you. Like it's like the real funny thing about it. Like it's like Habib, right? Like he's a devout Muslim who's been like living in the mountains and doesn't really say much. Like coming up, people couldn't care less about what he was saying, like coming into fights. But as soon as he starts um, beating the best guys in the world and winning world titles and stuff like this, like just people's interest just skyrockets. Like, yeah, it would have never crossed the UFC's mind that like a mountain man from a devout Muslim mountain man would be one of the biggest stars in the UFC, which is an American-based company. Like that is like unfathomable, I would say, for most people. But it happened because he won fights. People love winners. That's as simple as it is.
It is simple. And then when you could latch onto, a certain section of the world, which is a massive, massive fan base, and then bring them into the sport, of course the UFC is gonna, realize it, and then they're like, fuck, this dude's a fucking superstar. We gotta fucking buy Abu Dhabi and, and put on shows. And that's what's been happening. And the next wave is coming too, with Hamzat and Islam and whoever else, coming down the pipeline. And it's great to see, man. It's just the growth of the sport. But with Brad, man, I don't know. I don't see like this fight going to the judges. Like, I don't see this one like lasting. I think it will last to the third round, but I think there's gonna be like a finish there. There's gonna be someone getting, decapitated in this fight. Like, both guys have that ability. It's gonna be a fun one, man. I think it's the one of the fight of the night contenders. Like,